Well, before the little gym, I was an at-home mum for over 10 years, so we have to go back quite a long way. When I was at college, I started by learning social work. I was going to be a social worker working with children, but I was grabbed by the material girl age of the 80s and went off to work in London in event management and recruitment and field marketing, so dealing with personnel and a lot of customer service and a lot of detail type of work, really, attention to detail. So that's where my background was. I then had children, so then I learnt about children and the services that are out there for children through being a mum primarily. And it wasn't until I was nearly 40 years old that we came across the little gym, my husband and I. My husband actually found the little gym through a colleague of his who owns 2 little gyms of his own. And at the time, John was really looking to get out of corporate life, so that was his motivation, really. For me, I was at the stage when my children were fairly grown up and I could return to something, so it was a great opportunity for us to do something together, and where I could get back to where my initial interest in work was, which is to work with children. I had done gymnastics as a child, so I could still do certain things. My party trick was always doing handstands and cartwheels at parties, so I thought this was a great outlet for that. And so that's how our journey began, really, back in 2005. Why did we choose franchising? I think because it was a sort of tried and tested business proposition, that we could look at. We were looking at something that would complement our other business. We have another business, so this was something that would complement it. With a franchise, you have the support, the structure. You're not starting from scratch. So I think that was really what, and because we'd met somebody who was successful at it, so it was a sort of natural evolution for us. Well, actually, the Little Gym franchise is probably the only franchise we saw, because we weren't really looking to find a franchise. We were looking for a business opportunity. So we stumbled across the Little Gym through a friend of my husband who owns a Little Gym himself. And then we just explored it from there, and it was a perfect fit for us, and that's how we ended up here. The nice thing about the Little Gym actually is that there is a nice structure that you can follow, and there's enough there if you want to, just to keep literally within its structure. But it does offer a lot of flexibility for you to be yourself and put your own personality into the way you run things. So, for instance, the structure for opening a little gym is such that you would plan to offer trials to new members once you had opened your little gym. We had a lot of time in the pre-opening phase, so we decided to offer trials before we opened and even sell the program before we opened, and that was quite easy for us to do. And as a result of that, we had 140 members signed up before there was even a lick of paint on the walls. So that was really nice that we could plan something and do it our own way first, rather than just stick to the opening structure of the little gym. So there is flexibility, and the flexibility in running it is when you're comfortable, you can feel very much like you're running your own business without support, without someone over your shoulder. If you feel that you don't need the support or you don't need someone looking over your shoulder, then that's easy to do. At the same time, as soon as you feel any concern about anything, you can pick up the phone, write an email, speak to your advisor, and there's all the support there. So I think during the course of my 5 years so far, I have on occasions relied heavily on the support and the structure that's there, and at other times not. In the beginning, it was manic, to say the least. I think a lot of franchisees, when they open, will experience it all seems to happen at once. So from the time that you are building and preparing to open, equipment arriving, trying to train new staff, the first 6 months, 3 months before opening and 3 months after, is you really have no time for anything. So that was quite challenging. And then when you settle down, it depends on your role as an owner. For myself, I taught classes only for 1 year. I acted as a gym director for only 1 year, and then had a team around me so that I could become more part-time. And over the years I've removed myself more and more, so that now I come here once a week, and the rest is probably about 20 hours at home, which I could reduce to 10 probably if I wanted to. So generally these days I spend every Tuesday in my gym. I will meet with Marlene, who's the gym director here, and we will have a meeting and discuss probably what's gone on in the past week, our goals and challenges that we've got coming up. That might be setting up ready for a new term, or planning an open day, planning some marketing exercises, that sort of thing. It's also an opportunity for me to meet with the team and stay in touch with everybody, because that's probably the thing I miss about only being in the gym once a week, is not knowing everybody so well as I would when I would be teaching here. We'll have meetings with the team as well, just to catch up and talk over just the general business things and the finances and anything else that Marlene might have issues with at the moment, or any challenges that she's got that she might want my help with. So that's Tuesdays, and then often I will come in on a Thursday, probably once a month, and that's for our sort of end of month meeting, a sort of motivational time with the whole team, and that's nice for me to be involved in, because other than that I wouldn't really have too much involvement anymore with the team. As far as members are concerned, I used to know a lot of the members very well and the children, but now I don't. So that's very much the business and the running of it day to day is by Marlene and her team. I have probably 8 of them now, so that's all run by them. Running our own little gym has really improved our quality of life, and that's what it was designed to do, really. My husband and I had a dream before we opened this that by the time we were 50-ish, we would have the freedom to travel more. And so since the gym has been quite mature, so after about 2 years, I've removed myself more and more from the daily running of the business so that we can work really from anywhere. So we do literally take our laptops wherever we are, and we can stay in touch with everybody here, the media site, the TLG advisors. Everything is still able to be done from wherever we are. So that's great. Our children are pretty grown up now, so we're not really required to be at home. And as they are at university and starting their lives, we now have the opportunity to have a business which it doesn't run itself, it can't say that. It's run by a really good team of people, but it's not rocket science. Once you've got the system up and running for a couple of years, it's quite predictable. You can manage it from wherever you are. Running a little gym is naturally rewarding. It's going to be rewarding because you have 600 children coming through your gym every week who are coming here to have fun and learn stuff. And you have a team of instructors who are great gymnasts, who care about the children, who care about the quality of service that we're giving to the children and their parents. It's a really satisfying environment, and when it goes right, and the team's happy and the children are happy and parents and new members are joining, it is a really satisfying environment to work in. Managing a team has been a really, really fun part of this business, particularly, for instance, when we first opened, in fact before any of the equipment arrived here, we took on a local girl who had done some gymnastics before, and she had started to do something at university but decided that wasn't really going to fit her, so rather than just doing part-time at the little gym, which was her initial idea, she joined us full-time. And actually she's been with us for the whole time until just a couple of months ago, and she's now very much part of the Little Gym network. She's been working in Poland, and she's going to go possibly to Dubai and other places and take the skills and expertise that she's developed working here to help new gyms open. And it's so lovely to be able to help and to know that not only are we growing children's skills here at the Little Gym, but also developing teams, developing people as individuals. Most of the people we employ will have been at university graduates. They might be first or second jobbers, and knowing that you've been a part of their careers and have probably built something that they will take with them everywhere they go. It's nice to think that people who have worked here will remember that they were here and it has been a part of their lives. I think for me, teaching, I taught the first class that we ever had at the Little Gym, and it was a birds class, so there was a baby of 10 months old in that class, and naturally you have a real bond, especially with the first children you ever teach. And I think it's really quite special to come into the gym 5 years later and see that same child who's been coming for the whole 5 years now enjoying classes with all the 5-year-olds in the class, and the parents and the children have the Little Gym as part of their weekly lives and remember coming to the same first class that I taught 5 years ago. It's special. I think one of the challenging aspects of running a Little Gym as a new franchisee is the recruitment, as I've mentioned before. The great thing about being a franchisee in our network, particularly in London, I think, for me, is that there are other gyms locally, and as franchisees, we speak to each other regularly. We have meetings when we deliberately share ideas and concerns, and you can always speak to another owner if you've got issues about recruitment or any other one. But the structure in the network generally is all there for you. So having never employed anybody before, I didn't know quite where to start for the Little Gym, and employing gymnastic instructors specifically. What should I really be looking for? TLG provide a whole framework of advice and documents, everything from draft contracts to questions to ask in interview, what to be looking for. So there's a general framework you can work to, and the framework is developed by other gym owners over years, so it's tried and tested pretty much. So you have that sort of support from the network, but also you have the support from fellow franchisees. So sometimes you just need the reassurance that what you're doing is right, or what you're experiencing as a challenge is normal. So you have all of that. The business model for the Little Gym is a fairly simple one, so that if you get your stuff right, your territory, and you have the number of members that you're expecting to have, then there's no reason why you can't meet your financial expectations. If you do all your homework, and I think we did, and you have realistic expectations about how you're going to do it, then yes, and we have over the 5 years. Certainly in the first 2 years we exceeded our expectations financially, because the gym grew its membership by more than 50% more than we expected. So, and then through the recession years it was tricky, but I think we had also built that into our expectations. And now, 5 years on from the beginning, we are operating at pretty much where we thought we would be. It's tricky, quite hard, I think, to really evaluate and know what the impact of the recession had on our business, because there could be other factors, and I think all sorts of different things can impact the performance of the business. Most of all, I would say, having a really highly qualified, motivated team is the biggest thing. But during the recession, I think the membership dropped a little. And it was harder to get new members at the time. So our emphasis changed from trying to get new members to join to making sure we were providing the best possible service to the members we had. And I think we weathered the storm in that way. But for sure, there were fewer new enrolments. And I think in that sense, you just have to think about your marketing spend and the other things you would normally do in a given year, and amend those so that you're not overspending during that time. I think with spending less on ordinary marketing, such as media and magazine advertising that we did quite a lot of, which is easy but probably a bit lazy, the recession teaches you to work harder in your local community, and we've done that a lot. So we've worked with local schools and neighbouring businesses that have the same clientele as us, essentially, and work together to share marketing exercises, do more in the way of open days and events, and have different people come together. That's worked really well. I think it's probably true to say that for parents, certainly the parents that bring children to the little gym, they're very focused on child development, and even in recession, even in times of recession, I think parents it'll be the last thing they give up on is an activity they believe is good for their children. And so in that sense, we just worked hard to make sure they were getting as much out of the little gym as we could possibly give them during those times. So I would speak to everybody and ask advice from everybody. That means every other gym owner, your advisor and people at the Little Gym of Europe, but also people outside of the Little Gym, people who currently have children living in the territory you want to open your gym in. Ask advice and ask questions from everybody, and even if you're certain of an answer about something, assume there must be some truth in the answer you're given by people, and challenge your convictions on everything, because the more you know and the more you're prepared for, the more you can make it work for you.